Chen Mo, did you steal my mushrooms? You little rabbit, open the door quickly. Cousin. Wang Taihua is at the door. I scolded for half an hour. Cousin. Where the hell is this place? I have crossed over. It became a mysterious disappearance of a parent. Rural youth who can no longer be poor. Cousin, you finally woke up. We were yesterday. Stealing Wang Tiao's mushrooms was discovered by her. She's blocking us at the door now. What to do? Poor enough to steal other people's mushrooms to eat. Hey. If you make a mistake, you must admit punishment. If you are beaten, you must stand upright. Find a way to compensate them. Go. My good cousin. We are so poor that we can't even eat. How to compensate? Open the door, you little rabbit. You little rabbit cub finally came out. Said, did you steal our mushrooms? Who else can there be besides them? Even if he knew he stole it, what can be done? They were too poor to eat. How can there be money to compensate? How much will I compensate you? Can you afford to lose? I'm afraid I don't have a dime in my pocket. Money for the mushrooms themselves, plus my mental damage fee. I don't want much, just give me 200 yuan. I'll give you 200 in 3 days. He never broke his word, so I will wait for you for 3 days. Oops. Now I don't have a dime on me. 3 days. Where is this bird not pooping? Go get 200 yuan. Congratulations on the successful activation of the host. Collect and get rich system. Collect mountain goods to earn points. Points can be redeemed for any item. Help the host make a fortune. It is truly a matter of searching the mountains and rivers, and there is no way out. Only by crossing open and hanging can you get rich. I live in the mountains. Collecting mountain goods is not easy. I'm finally going to get rich. She can't see it. It seems that this system interface only I can see. Go to my cousin. Brother will take you into the mountains. Rush to the mountains to make money. Hey, cousin, come on. There are mushrooms here. Hey, wait a minute. The system says it's just me. Collected mushrooms can be exchanged for points. I'll do it myself. The host collects 1 chanterelle mushroom. Earn 10 system points. You go to the side to rest. I can pick these myself. My cousin usually doesn't do it himself. Why is it like never seeing mushrooms today? Forget it. If he wants to pick it himself, he can pick it himself. Host collecting 75 chanterelle mushrooms. Earn 750 system points. Oops. I earned 750 points in this time. See what you can change. 30 points. This. A bottle of laundry detergent only costs 50 points. 5 mushrooms are easy to earn. Double gloves only cost 100 points. And this pair of hiking shoes, only 250 points. I'm going. This is redeemed with points. It's better than me taking money outside to buy it. It's much cheaper. Just picked for a while. I made so much money. Change the bottle of laundry detergent first. Washed the clothes first. Then I changed into a pair of hiking shoes and sold them. The money owed to Wang Taihua was compensated. I really exchanged laundry detergent. 2 more pairs of hiking shoes. Picked a few mushrooms. You can exchange so many things. Since the way to get points now. There is only one type of mountain goods. Then I'll go into the mountains early tomorrow morning. Just earn more points. It seems that making a fortune is not a dream. Dear mountain goods are waiting for me. I see that brother will not kill you tomorrow. Hey BNK. Yesterday my friend came over, gave me 2 pairs of hiking shoes. I asked me to sell my pair. I'll keep your pair for you. Really, cousin? You are waiting for me. I'll go over now. Hey. Stop by when you come. Call Wang Taihua over. Just say that I am ready for the money. Cousin. Hey. Your shoes. These shoes don't look cheap. My cousin is really good to me. And Wang. That's 200 yuan of mushroom money to lose you. How was it? I, Chen Mo, speak and count. I really underestimate you. This time it was over. Next time you dare to steal my mushrooms, it's not a matter of 200 yuan. Cut. Just your mushrooms are worth a few dollars. If you give you 200 yuan, you can have fun. 200 pieces. Brother picked mushrooms for a while and earned it. BNK. Change into your new hiking shoes. Let's go up the mountain to pick mountain goods. Okay. BNK. Oh, this physical fitness is really bad. Wait until you have accumulated enough points. You have to hurry up and be in the system. Redeem a little vigorous pill to eat. You say that. It's all about the secret base of mushrooms. How long will it take? It's almost here, brother. This road comes to an end. Let's go. It seems that it still needs to. Grab the mountain goods to earn points. Wait for me to make a lot of money. You don't have to suffer this. Cousin, take a look. What it is? I'm going. It's actually a pine mushroom. The host collects a pine mushroom. Earn 50 system points. That BNK. You go to the front to look for it first. See if there are any pine mushrooms. I'll finish picking this tree. I'll go find you. Hey, okay. $50-50. It's all points and money. The host collected a total of 70 pine mushrooms. Earned 3,500 system points. I sent it. I now have a total of 3,700 points. Take a look. Can be in the system. Exchange it for something good. This square meter of system space. This is not what is in the novel. Storage space? Exchange. Exchange. Congratulations to the host. Get 1 square meter of system space. The host simply touches the item with his hand. It can be stored in the system space. Let me try this storage space. The stick really fits into the space. You can also take it out at will. All the valuable things from now on can be placed in this system space. This is not 10,000 times better than a safe. This is not 10,000 times better than a safe. Cousin, have you finished harvesting there? Come here, there are chanterelles. Hey, it's coming. The host collects a chanterelle mushroom. Worth 10 system points. It's a pity that there are only mountain goods that I collected with my own hands. Can be exchanged for points. This big basket of mushrooms picked by my cousin. It's a waste. Hosts can spend 1,000 credits. Redeem the secondary gloves in the system store. Anyone wearing this glove, picking mountain goods. Both hosts can earn points. Dependent gloves can only be redeemed once. Exchange a pair of gloves for my cousin. This is how she picked mushrooms. It can also be exchanged for points. The movement is the most complete. These gloves look nothing special. But the function is really sky high. Isn't this equivalent to one more free labor for me to work? Hey BNK. I see you, mountain picker. The grinding hands hurt. I'll give you a pair of gloves to wear. My cousin is really good to me. He himself didn't even wear gloves. I was asked to wear it. No need for brother. I often go up the mountain. I have calluses on my hands. You should wear these gloves. This is a vassal glove, old girl. I wear it is not a confession. Wasted this big baby. What's going on? Now your brother speaks. You didn't listen, did you? Come on, let you wear it. Hey. Old sister. In the future, this will go into the mountains to pick mountain goods. Don't take off these gloves. Put them all on me. Hey. My cousin collects a chanterelle mushroom. Earn 10 points. These gloves are really a big helper. It's a pity that I can only change to a pair of vassal gloves. Otherwise, brother directly replace him with dozens or hundreds of pairs. Are you still worried that the points are not enough to spend? Ouch. Hey brother. You see what it is? Is this so? Is this so? Wild ginseng. That's right, brother. 5 batches of leaf red fruits. It's ginseng. Brother, we came across wild ginseng. Mature wild ginseng. Even if the appearance is average, it can also be sold for 2,000 yuan. If it is in good condition, it can even sell for tens of thousands. Collect this precious mountain product. You will definitely earn a lot of system points. Cousin. It's a pity that we didn't bring a red rope and a hoe. It can only be dug with an iron hook. This is going to be dug down. Isn't that whisker broken? Oh. Congratulations to the host. Successfully exchanged a red rope. A hoe. Spend a total of 110 points. Hey brother. Where did these things come from? I remember you didn't take it when you went out. Ah. This and that. I took it with me when I went out. Hey, don't worry about this. Let's hurry up and pick this wild ginseng. Hey, okay. Wow. This ginseng is not small. The roots are also complete. At least it can be sold for 5,000 yuan. The host successfully collected a wild ginseng plant. The term of service is 22 years. The reference price is 30,000 yuan. This wild ginseng. It was worth 30,000 points. Now my brother is really going to take off. It seems that as long as you collect precious mountain goods, the system also automatically estimates the price. But if sold to the village collector of mountain goods, it will definitely be severely suppressed. DNK. Tomorrow, follow me to the city to sell wild ginseng. Our brothers made a lot of money. Okay. Now there are 30,590 system credits. You have to plan how to use it. The system space of 1 square meter is too small. It's not enough at all. Let's redeem 3 square meters of system space first. Congratulations to the host. Successfully redeemed 3 square meters of system space. Costs a total of 6,000 system credits. Oh, what should I exchange for something? That's right, I have to improve my physical fitness quickly. My current vision is 4. It costs 5,000 points to go up a little. Then let's raise it by 4 points first. The host successfully redeems 4 points of vision improvement. A total of 20,000 points were spent. Current visual acuity value 8. The detection range is 10 meters. Oh hee. These 20,000 points are worth it. I am simply now walking humanoid radar. Hey cousin. The fat man in the white shirt. Is it the owner of this pharmacy? E.g., he seems to be coming towards us. You too. Where did the stinky food come from? Dare to sit in our Huarantang store. Get out of here quickly. Do you have any quality? We are here to sell goods. Sell goods. Oof. Just you are the one who sells the goods. What rare things can you come up with? Do you know this? It turned out to be a complete wild ginseng. Look at the big and small ears, at least 10 years or more. I just changed hands. At least it can sell for 15,000. These two boys don't know how to do it at first glance. Now you have to make money. This wild ginseng is in good condition. I accepted 8,000 yuan. Cousin. 8,000. We got rich. Oomph, I really don't know the goods. If it weren't for the systematic valuation, I might return. I'm really going to sell you a dead fat man. But now. Oof. Oof. DNK, let's go. Hey, don't go. I'll add another 2,000. 10,000 yuan. I lost money and accepted it. Young people, please stay. This 20-year-old wild ginseng, I accepted it. You quote a price. What are you still standing? Hurry up and make tea for the two friends. Or you know the goods. Unlike some people just now, even if your mouth smells bad, your eyes won't work easily. This wild ginseng root must be complete, at least 20 years old. It's rare. Little brother, how much money are you going to sell? 40,000. The little brother is also an expert. You see this? I paid 30,005. You will dig it out later. What a rare mountain product. Can be sold to me. I will never press the price. Transaction is made. I'm sorry. I don't drink tea made by people who don't brush their teeth. Stink. DNK, let's go. Hey. Although now the system space, there are already 4 square meters, but they have always lived in system space. It's not a solution. Now I have 20,000 yuan in my hand. Rebuilding is definitely not enough, but it should be okay to fix it. Chen Mo, do you really want to repair the house? Now the situation in this house. You also read it. If this is not practiced, there is really no way to live in it. So, how much does it cost to fix this? If only the windows were replaced and the doors were repaired. If you make up for the roof, about 8,000 yuan is enough. But if you repair the wall and paint it, you can do it. It costs 20,000 yuan. That's fine. In this way, the craftsmanship of your brothers. I can trust you. Plus, we are all from the same village. This 20,000 yuan, I'll transfer it to you now. Anyway, I'm not afraid of you running away. When the time comes, please help me get it. Brother Xing, let's go back and prepare things first. Okay. Song, the most honorable. Shadow Glory. Just made some money. Now there is no dime left in my pocket. And this point is not much beneficial. Fortunately, there is now a radar detection function. Tomorrow I can go deep into the mountains. Take another walk. Earn more points. Try to find some big goods. This way. All I collected were ordinary mushrooms. This points add up to less than 2,000. I don't even have a little bit. Physical enhancement cannot be exchanged. No, it didn't work. Brother has to do something big today. Otherwise, I won't leave. What a sign is this? This is the first time such signs appear during detection. There must be something good ahead. I'm going. This is matsutake mushroom. This thing, more than 200 yuan a pound. The host successfully collected 7 matsutake mushrooms. Earned 3,500 system points. One can reach 500 points. Get rich, get rich. There must be more around here. I searched and searched. I said there are still around here. The size of this matsutake mushroom is really not small. These 6 or 7 add up. It is estimated that there must be more than 1 pound. The host successfully collected 20 matsutake mushrooms. Earned 10,000 system points. 10,000 points. Plus more than 3,000 just now. Plus the previous profit. Am I not now? There are more than 18,000 points. The host uses radar detection capabilities. Too long. Excessive mental power consumption. Is about to fall into a coma. You cheat daddy system. You, what? I didn't say it earlier. It is. Is this a system space? Could it be that I am in danger? The system will automatically receive me in the space. The radar system is easy to use. It's just too energy consuming. Now I feel uncomfortable. The body returns to full blood. It is recommended to increase the physical fitness value by 1 point. The body returns to full blood. Your grandma's. This system. Do you have to wait until I faint before talking about it? Add me a little power value. Congratulations to the host for redeeming 1 point of power. Spend 5,000 points. I'm going. I really feel like I'm resurrected with full blood. Now I am full of strength. And the spirit is just right. If this is the future, I just need to go into the mountains to pick mountain goods. I feel tired. I'll add a little body strength value. Then I will become. Is it a perpetual motion machine? But the main reason for fainting this time. It's because of this mountain climbing road. Too much physical exhaustion. Plus, I use it too many times. The radar detection function. This is everyone dizzy. I still have more than 10,000 points left. Let's increase the speed first. My current speed value is only 1 point. Exchange a little first. See what has changed. The host successfully redeems a speed point. Spend 5,000 points. Speed increased to 8 points. Unlocks light power water floating. Light work floats on the water. Isn't that a martial arts secret in a novel? Even this kind of thing. My current speed value is 2. To unlock the light power water float, you have to spend 30,000 points. I only have 8,000 points left. I have to keep some. When the body is weak, exchange for strength points. It's not enough to be fancy. I have been looking for it in the mountains for 2 days. About 100 caddies were harvested. Ordinary mushrooms and 20 pounds of matsutake mushrooms. In total, earned more than 20,000 system points. According to this progress, only in the year of the monkey can you make a fortune. No, it didn't work. I have to go deeper. See if you can find something good. You have to do something ruthless. Labor is the brightest. However, I am now probing 10 meters. The distance is still a little too close. I need to exchange a little more. The host successfully redeems 2 sight. Spend 10,000 points. Current visual acuity value 10. Unlock the 20-meter radar detection range. 20 meters of exploration range. It turned out to be so big. The efficiency of finding mountain goods. It should be able to improve a lot. What danger lies ahead? It can also be better predicted. I'm going. Bear blind. Scared my brother to death. Stinky dog bear. Fortunately, it was unlocked just now. 20 meters detection range. I found out in advance. Almost all. But it will go into your stomach. It's really hard work that pays off. Finally met a ruthless person. Wild ginseng. Glory. Labor is the most glorious. The host was successfully collected. A wild ginseng plant. The term is 32 years. Earn 40,000 points for the system. 22 years old wild ginseng. You give me 30,000 points. These 32 years. Comparable to more than 20 years. It's much harder to find. You only give me 40,000 points. System, are you playing with me? The system is based on the host, the difficulty of obtaining mountain goods, and the value of the mountain goods themselves. Combined bonus points. The final interpretation right belongs to the system. Okay, good. You are the system. You have the final say. Now I have 58,000 points. Let's increase the space of the system first. The host successfully redeemed. For square meters of system space, spend 8,000 points. In this way, it doesn't matter if you put things in the future or live by yourself. This system is much more spacious. No step. Speed up to 8. Light work floats on the water. Brother, the flowers you have been waiting for have all withered. The host successfully redeems 6 speed points. Spend 30,000 points. Current speed 8. Successfully unlock the light skill water floating. 30,000 points to unlock. Don't let me down. I'm going. This cost more than 30,000 points. It's really a good thing. With this light skill floating on the water, I will go into the mountains later. Don't be so tired. This time it took quite a long time to enter the mountain. The house at home should. It is also almost renovated. It's time to go back and take a look. Cousin, you're back. Look, isn't this room a big change? Well done. My brother just bought 2 hares. I'll treat you to a good treat tonight. Cousin. In our village, no one sells hares. Cousin, where did you buy it? Silly girl. Because this is what I just caught from the mountain. I can't tell you. I'll tell you to run errands outside. Actually in the mountains. Stay for 3 or 4 days. What do you care so much? Just eat it. Go, go, go. Big strong and small strong. You two are worthy of our village. Handicraft is the best. Efficiency is really nothing to say. Hard work for you. We have been working overtime these days. The work is almost done. It can be completed tomorrow. We will help you lay the bricks in this house. Lights, sofas, etc. All of them have been changed. You can go in and take a look later. We don't want much wages. Just calculate it as 200 a day. 5 days in total. You just give 2,000. Forget about it. The money I made from selling that wild ginseng last time, all of them are used as material fees. I don't have a dime in my pocket now. We are not in a hurry to ask for wages. When did you have enough money? When to give? We believe in you. Come over to eat rabbits tonight. Okay, we'll bring some wine later. Let's have some drinks at night. It's really uncomfortable to have no money in your hand. Tomorrow I have to hurry up with the mushrooms I picked in the past few days. Matsutake mushrooms and the 32-year-old wild ginseng. All sold. These 2 bags of mushrooms are at least. There are more than 100 pounds. Matsutake mushrooms are estimated to be more than 20 pounds. This is all picked up by yourself. Is it important for me to pick it? Uncle Bigfoot. Just say whether you accept it or not. Collect. Definitely accept it. Recent. Just in time for the good sale of mountain goods. I'll settle the score for you. 2 bags of mushrooms weigh almost 150 pounds. I will give you 15 yuan a caddy. It's 2,250 yuan. 25 pounds of matsutake mushrooms. I will give you 200 a caddy. It's 5,000 yuan. The total is 7,250 yuan. 250 is not good. How about giving you 7,300? Li Dajiao. Your price is still as ruthless as ever. My matsutake mushroom looks good. Just give me 200 a caddy. If it is not placed in system space, it's not easy to take it out in the city. I won't sell you as a profiteer. Okay. Deal. Okay. Then I'll call someone to come unload the car. The money is transferred to you to see. The little brother drinks tea. This is probably a 30-year-old wild ginseng. The roots are intact. Rare. I pay 100,000. This old man really knows the goods. I can guess the year is not bad. The price given is also accurate. Deal. Received. Hey little brother. You can pick 2 plants in a row. Wild ginseng with such good quality. It certainly wasn't all about luck. I heard that there was a rich man in the city. Buy century-old ginseng at a high price. If you can get it, you can sell it directly to him. High price. How high can it be? 2 million. Cousin, you bought this outfit in the city. It's so cool. Looks more handsome than male stars. Yes, you clean up like this. Even I feel a little ashamed of myself. It's okay, it's okay. It's just SOSO. A few days ago, the mountain goods collected were sold at a good price. This is 3,000. 1,000 yuan more. It should be. Give you 2 brothers the hard work. Then we're welcome. What can I do in the future? Use our brothers. Just open your mouth. Oh yes, cousin, I almost forgot about the business. Are you going into the mountains? Why don't you stay with us? Go to the mountains as a tour guide. What a tour guide. You all go. Right. A group of expeditions came to the village. He said he wanted to go into the mountains to investigate. The 5 children in our village have all gone to be tour guides. 300 yuan a day. Severals are needed. They are said to be staying for half a month. You can earn 4,500 on this trip. There are not many opportunities like this. We are all ready to go. What field trips? Most of them went to find the 2 million bounty. Centennial wild ginseng. I can't use them well. Light work floats on the water. It's better to try your luck yourself. He entered the deep mountains for half a month. I felt too dangerous. Go ahead. I am more life-saving. You must pay attention to safety. Did you know? Cousin. You don't do this kind of thing that drops money in the sky. Then here we go. Make money then. I treat you to delicious food. Okay. Go for it. Hey, okay. Brother is gone. I can't see anything. What does this humanoid logo mean? Could it be? Is there anyone around here? Who? Physically flexible. The speed is excellent. And a little hunchback. It is. Orangutan. Why is this orangutan running so fast? I'm going. I can't beat so many orangutans. Hurry up, hurry up. I'm going. I'm going. This is the savage. This savage has rough skin and thick flesh. The speed is ridiculously fast. There were 3 at once. Fortunately, my brother ran fast. Hey, we have to improve our strength quickly. Otherwise, I will meet again next time. What a strange thing. But it may not be possible to retreat completely. Now there are only 20,000 points. How to spend to maximize the benefits. Visual acuity and speed values. When it is raised to 8 o'clock, will unlock a special feature. 20,000 points is just right. Increases strength to 8 points. A special feature should also be unlocked. Forget it. Bicycles become motorcycles. The host successfully exchanges 4 power points. Current strength 8. Unlocks a 10x power amplification. 10x power increase. I feel full of strength. The 10-fold power increase is really powerful. It's just that this movement is a little louder. Chen Mo. I am tired of being a tour guide for the expedition until now. Why did you steal ham sausages by yourself? I'm hungry. I didn't eat enough just now. Hey, your cousin is so poor. Why didn't you follow us? Come and be a tour guide. My cousin has other things to do. What can he do? I think he is just lazy. My mother said, people like him deserve to be poor for a lifetime. Shut up. Shut up. If you dare to speak ill of my cousin again, believe it or not, I'll beat you. What kind of sound is there? Is this someone firing a cannon? Look at your unpromising look. It's not a cannon. Could it be that there are fools who smash trees with stones? Brother, why am I getting more and more scared? Why don't we go back? The boss of the expedition. He said he would give us 2,000 yuan more. Let's explore the way. But who knows if they will default. We don't need to put our lives on this. What nonsense. Our brothers have been in the mountains for so many years. What situation has not been encountered? What are you afraid of when you walk at night? Hey, aren't you usually quite bold? How can this start to be scary? Listen, what is the sound ahead? Probably a wolf. Everyone be careful. There are savages running fast. Hurry up. Brother. Little 5, DNK. Give me a good time. You just want to die like this. Chen Mo. Why are you here? My brother, Little 5, and BNK, they were all captured by monsters. Let's call the police quickly. There is no signal in the mountains. You go back to the camp first. I went to them. That's it. But 3 savages are not easy to deal with. I have to improve my physical fitness. Today, I picked mountain goods in the mountains all day. Not a single big deal was found. Fortunately, I picked 200 pounds of mushrooms and 20 pounds of matsutake mushrooms. Earned 30,000 points. The host successfully exchanges 2 power points and 2-point velocity values. A total of 20,000 points were spent. Current strength 10. Current speed 10. Unlocks a 20x power amplification. He walked slightly with Lingbo. This savage has rough skin and thick flesh. I don't know the 20 times power increase. Is it enough? Forget it. Forget it. Saving people is important. It really doesn't work. He used Lingbo Microsteps to save people and run away. I'm going. 20 times the power increase is so good. A punch is a little savage. Wake up. Wake up. Hey. Brother Mo. You were also captured by the savages. Why are those savages gone? As soon as those savages came up, we were frightened. When I found you, you fainted here. I didn't see the savage either. You go first. If you go all the way east, you can get out. I went to the neighborhood to see if there were any mountain goods. Maybe. We have met a god. Go back quickly. But brother, what if you meet the savages again? It's okay. I run fast. I'll go back later. You guys go back quickly. It is said that next to the precious mountain goods, they are all guarded by beasts. I don't know if this savage cave is nearby. Do you have any treasures? Wild ginseng. Such a tall fruit. It won't be a century-old wild ginseng. The host successfully collected a wild ginseng plant. The term is 132 years. The reference price is 700,000 yuan. Earn 100,000 system points. It's really a century-old wild ginseng. 2 million. It's not just close at hand. There are also 110,000 system points. Now my brother is really going to change his life. But I just know that there is a big boss. Buy century-old wild ginseng at a high price. I don't know which big boss it is. You have to find someone to inquire first. Boss Zhang. Good evening. Little brother, call me so late. Is there something to sell? Although this Boss Zhang should be a good person, but ordinary people are innocent and guilty. Let's not say it yet. I have found a century-old wild ginseng. I'm temporary. I didn't find any good mountain goods. Call you. I want to know something. You ask. If I knew, I would definitely tell you. I see that there are a lot of people in our village recently. Go up the mountain to find this or something. Century-old wild ginseng. I heard that it was because there was a big boss who used it. West Million heavy acquisition. Do you know who is looking for this medicine? Oh, this. It is the chairman of Huateng Group who wants to accept it. It is said that his wife was seriously ill. Use wild ginseng that is more than 100 years old. Make a medicine introduction. Thank you, Boss Zhang. Okay. Print flying text. Started from scratch. It took 20 years to build Huateng Group. Now he is worth billions. 2 million for him. Maybe it's just a sprinkling of water. But for me, it was definitely a big step in changing my life. Departure tomorrow. See the printed flying text. General Seal. The ginseng seller arrived. Okay. Let him in. Young man, how did your wild ginseng come about? Dig it yourself. This thing wants to steal. There is no place to steal it. Don't let me sit down and talk. He also had an interrogative tone. If it weren't for the face of 2 million, I left a long time ago. Boy, how to talk to the chairman. They all work part-time. What are you doing here? Is there a place for you to speak? Ah, what to see? He glared at me again. I'll turn around and leave now. I'm not selling anymore. Hey. Fast. Upper seat. Sit. Young man, don't be so angry when you're young. Take out the goods and take a look. Good thing, at least this wild ginseng has it. 130 years old, and it was just dug up. Congratulations to the General Seal. Let love be saved. Great. What a pity. What a pity. If there is another century-old Ganoderma lucidum, I can add more to the eldest lady. 30 years lifespan. Okay. Okay, young people, you can find century-old wild ginseng. Can you find a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum? If you can find it, the price is whatever you want. What I have is money. It's amazing to be rich. Ganoderma lucidum is so conspicuous. It can last for 100 years. It must be in the deepest part of the deep mountains and old forests where no one has been. Not found. Ha ha ha. Brother is also a millionaire now. Sir, what kind of mobile phone do you want to buy? I can recommend it to you. The little girl is really inexperienced. Although this young man is dressed quite neatly, but the clothes and pants look like street stalls. It must have been addicted to the store. I now have more than 2.1 million in my hands. Let's buy 3 mobile phones first. I used 2 parts myself. A unit was granted to BNK. I want 3 units. This latest model. What? You want 3 copies? It's still the latest. Yes. I said I was going to buy 3 phones. Sorry, sir. She is new. I haven't seen the world. Please come here. I'll get you the phone. Sell 3 of the latest mobile phones. But there is a small 1,000 commission. Little girl. I can give you this kind of good thing. Hey, don't go. Didn't you introduce me to buy a mobile phone? Why don't you receive me personally? Don't give me face. Oh yes, yes. You are so handsome today. I didn't recognize it at once. Thank you. You are such a good person. It's okay. I just can't see this. Snobbish people. Just this latest phone. Take 3 units. Okay, I'll pretend it for you. Mister, this is your phone. Hey that. Can I treat you to a meal at noon? It doesn't mean anything else. Just want to thank them. Why do you want to invite me to dinner for such a trivial matter? This girl won't fall in love with her brother. Hey, no way. Who called my brother so charming? But not now, when the love between children is long. Brother only has one thing in mind. Make money. That. Don't be so polite. These are small things. I still have something to do and leave first. I'll come to you next time I buy a mobile phone. Big Eater Competition. This wave of advertising by Huateng Group. It's a bit interesting. It just so happens that I am short of a car now. Although Lingbo walked slightly, it was fast. But Jing Nung. It can only be used at night when no one is around. It's really inconvenient. Compared to being able to eat, it should not be as good as others. But my brother is worried. When the time comes, stuff something into your mouth, then sneak it into the system space. No, that's fine. You. It's Chen Mo. I am Chen Mo. You are. It's really you. I'm Zhao Li. We are junior high school classmates. You don't remember. It seems to be a bit of an impression, but wouldn't she be fat? Now thin and beautiful. Looks like a star. It's really a change in the 18th year of women's college. So it's you. I haven't seen you for so many years. I can't recognize it. Why don't you sit down and eat something? Please. Okay. It just so happened that I came alone. What are you looking at? It's so fascinating. Do you know Huateng Group? I just watched the news and said they are going to hold a big eater competition. I think it's a bit interesting. That's what you're talking about. Of course I know. Chairman of Huateng Group. It's my best friend's father. My best friend is seriously ill. Uncle Ian did this activity. I want everyone to do it. All of them are related to the Huateng Group. Let his daughter. One more point of the possibility of getting better. That. You know, that wild ginseng. I sold it to Yin Feiwen. Uncle Ian told me. I didn't expect it either. I can meet you here today. Chen Mo. Can you save my best friend? She was really dying. I can't help it. Isn't it necessary to use a 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum to save her? It's hard to find in the mountains at all. Uncle Ian. I have already found a good fan to go to the mountains. I'll follow one in 2 days. Experienced explorers. Go to the mountains together. Chen Mo. Can you join us? Huateng Group should not be shabby. How much can you get paid? Go for it. Whether or not you find a century-old Ganoderma can get 500,000 yuan. Who found Ganoderma lucidum? 5 million to whom? If you can find Ganoderma lucidum, you can get 5.5 million. 5 million. Yin Feiwen really spent a lot of money. Although I have 2 million in my hand now. But who would think that there is too much money? Cut. Seeing this, I'm going to eat Xiaolongbao today. I don't know if I want to win the championship. How much do you have to eat? Welcome to Huateng Group. The scene of the first Big Eater competition. The first round is a knockout round. Within 20 minutes, contestants who ate 50 Xiaolongbao can be promoted. First round of competition. Cut start now. The first round is over. There are only 3 people successfully ate 50 buns. Let's move on to the second round. Who eats the most Xiaolongbao? Who is today's champion? I can see all the players. The desire for Audi cars is very strong. Encourage everyone. Come on, all the players. These people can really eat. I have eaten more than 80 buns. The speed is not much slower. Fortunately, I have system space. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll die here today. I can't win the championship either. Now the game has entered a white-hot stage. See who can win today's championship. Okay, 2 players have been eliminated. Wow. Look at this player. Until now, it is still 1. It's really amazing. Don't look at me. I put the whole thing in my mouth. I can't put it in the system space. This host is really a dad. Wow, it's amazing. It's so edible. I've eaten 100 of them. Can this player still eat? No, I can't eat it. Okay, the game is over. Oh my god. 105 Xiaolong Bao, the final winner. Please come forward to receive the award. Cut. Let's congratulate this gentleman. Won the championship. Successfully drove the Audi home. Let's have a general seal. Take the stage to present awards. I met young people again. We are very faded. I'm sorry, Mr. Een. Accidentally won you another car. Wow. I'm going. This car. This headlight. Wow, it's so beautiful. What a brand new Audi, cousin. You are too powerful. That's until now, the most expensive car in the village. This headlight. This leather seat. This exhaust. Chen Mo, you kid really got shit luck. I haven't ridden this Audi yet. Can you let me sit down in the future? Chen Mo, one by one. Why do you look more excited than me? Just right. In 2 days I will go on a long journey. The car keys will be left to BNK when the time comes. When you are going out, just open it. Really open it for me, brother. Of course it is true. Be careful when driving. Don't hit me. Don't worry, brother. We will definitely cherish it. Oh yes, brother. Li Dajiao said that his supermarket was to be transferred. It's on sale at a low price now. Brother, do you want to go to ton something? Uncle Bigfoot stopped doing it. How much money is he going to pay? 250,000. Originally, both families went to talk. Later, the village chief said he wanted to. No one dared to go. Bigfoot supermarket's business. It's still very good. There is such a big supermarket in the village. If you can put it down, you should be able to earn a lot every year. BNK's family can also help look at the store. You don't have to go into the mountains often. Hey, do you know how much the village chief is going to collect? Wang Youfu has been the village chief for so many years. Every year from Uncle Bigfoot, take away 50,000 commissions. How much can he give Uncle Bigfoot? I guess it will not exceed 150,000. Wang Youfu has been powerful in the village over the years. Now I want to go to the only supermarket in the village. Insert a foot horizontally. If this really makes him come down, I'm afraid I'll go shopping in the future. You have to charge a lot of money. No, it didn't work. I'm going to find Uncle Bigfoot. All right. This car is so handsome. Uncle Bigfoot. Chen Mo. I heard that you got an Audi back. It's quite beautiful. I'm just lucky. The competition was won. Uncle Bigfoot, you're really ready to leave. Something happened at home. I have to go. I heard. You want to transfer the supermarket to Wang Youfu. Wang Youfu, this old bastard. I might as well just turn it off for him. 100,000 yuan. 100,000 yuan wants my house and supermarket. I buy a house and decorate it. It costs more than 200,000 yuan. And these goods, at least worth 350,000. Wang Youfu just relied on himself to be the village chief, knowing that the big guy didn't dare to offend him. Only then will I give you this price. This supermarket smashed into my own hands. It will not be transferred to him. If someone dares to pick it up now, I transferred 150,000 yuan directly. Uncle Bigfoot. You are sure? 150,000 out. My goods alone are worth 70,000 or 80,000 yuan. 150,000 is already low. Okay, I want it. Li Dajiao. You are really shameless. My dad spent 100,000 yuan by your broken supermarket. It's already giving you face. You still want to give it to others. And you Chen Mo, you kid is quite kind. What our Wang family likes. You dare to grab it too. Phew, it's really an old bastard who gave birth to a little bastard. Shameless like you. Let's try it again. Oof. Your father is rich. He relied on himself to be the village chief for several years, oppressing the people everywhere. The marble factory you opened yourself. Arrears of workers' wages. A few years ago, there were also deaths. One dog in a family. I'll tell you. This supermarket is now mine. What do you have to do with me? Do you think you're awesome? You think you have taken down this supermarket? Can you open normally? There's a lot of nonsense. You are a hook. If you have the guts, come at me. Tell me again. Since you love to listen to it so much, then I'll say it a few more times. You are a hook. You are a hook. Okay, Chen Mo, you wait for me. Chen Mo, the Wang family is not easy to mess with. Be careful. It's okay, Uncle Bigfoot. You can pack your things and go straight away. Just leave the rest of the things here to me. Hey, where are the brothers? Shake all the brothers over to me. Hurry up. Bring the guy immediately. Brother Tian. Do you see the Bigfoot supermarket in front of you? Smash it for me. The people inside fight to death. Go. Don't bother you to pass. I delivered it to my door myself. Come on, Chen Mo. I didn't expect one day. You still need me to solve this kind of thing. If you don't die today, you will be crippled. Book 8. 1 million. I bought his life. Give it to me. 1 million. I bought his life. Give it to me. Big brother, kill him. Give it to me. You. Chen Mo, what do you want to do? Can you still call someone? If you can, hurry up. I'm waiting for you here. Chen Mo, you dare to move a finger of me. I have a way to get you to sit in jail. Chen Mo. I want your family to die a bad death. What other means are used? I'm waiting for you here. Chen Mo. Captain Ma, look at this. Don't worry, I understand. What did Officer Ma say? Don't worry, Lao Ma still has a deep friendship with me. Officer Ma is just from the county. Will there be no way to take Chen Mo? Don't worry. Deal with a little cub in the village. It's still more than enough. This point, Chen Mo should already be in the interrogation room. He beat you like this. Go in and stay for 3 or 5 years. It's all light. Chen Mo, you beat my son like this. What do you bring a lot of people to do? Let them tell you. Hello Wang Youfu. I am the chief lawyer of Huaxing Group. Chen Mo is now my client. Your son gathers a crowd to fight, intentionally hurting others. I have represented my client, filing a lawsuit in court. This. Wang Badian is right. I am Huang Longjun, Deputy Director of the Municipal Public Security Bureau. You are suspected of gathering a crowd to fight, intentionally hurting others. We checked out Mr. Chen. Live photos provided. Other matters belong to legitimate defense. If you cannot obtain Mr. Chen's understanding, then you have to come with us. Dad. Director Huang, is there any misunderstanding in between? I forgot to tell you. Ma Jianya is suspected of embezzlement and bribery. Investigation is underway. When is this kid Chen Mo? I know so many big people. It seems that our Wang family is going to plant it this time. I was just asking Zhao Li. Get me a lawyer. Unexpectedly, she contacted Yin Feiwen directly. Not only the printing of the flying text, lead lawyer for your own company. Sent over. The deputy chief of the city police department was also contacted. In this way, Wang Badian will definitely be binned. I've been locked up for a while. You can leave him alone for the time being. The grace of dripping water should be repaid by the spring. It seems that this trip to the mountains, I had to go. Hey! You have invaded our territory, trampled on our turf. We must be compensated. This deep mountain and old forest can still be said to be trampling on the turf. It is clear that he is looking for trouble. Friends, take these 2 and divide them among the brothers. We won't cause trouble. Let's have so many people. Divide into 2 cigarettes. Send someone to ask for food. You trampled on us so much. Flowers and grass. If it doesn't satisfy us today, don't think about leaving. What do you want to do? Easy to handle. 100,000 yuan. We'll leave right away. 100,000 yuan is not a small amount. This young man named Chen Mo. There is no money to look at. This money can only be shared with Zhao Li. If you don't give them money, they will definitely rob us of supplies. Even kill people to silence them. I'll give you 100,000 yuan. You guys hurry up and go. It's really a poor mountain and bad water out of the people. You just gave money to compensate us for the pasture. We all had a big night. It's hard work to get here. I haven't given it yet. We have no money for you anymore. Don't go too far. Let's go quickly. This girl looks real. If you don't have money, just take this girl. Chick. It's so beautiful, exactly like the stars. Are you interested? Have fun with your brother. You go up one by one. Let's go up together. Chen Mo. It's okay. You stay here. I'll fix it. Don't be afraid. Let's go up together. I don't believe it. We can't beat him alone. Oops. Do you believe it now? I believe it. I believe it. Wang Qi, call the police. Let the police handle it. Don't run while standing. It's okay. I'm done with it. Chen Mo, why are you so powerful now? You didn't go to high school. It won't be going to Shaolin Temple. Learn Kung Fu. That's right. Monk. Is it impossible to get married and have children? How can this woman be silly and cute, but you eat meat buns? Moreover, we were not that day. We also ate steak together. Chen Mo, you lied to me. Really? We split up. Go find Ganoderma. We will meet at the camp at a time. Okay, I'll go to the south side and take a look. Chen Mo, I'll join you. Surrounded by individuals than I am with ordinary people. What is the difference? You can look for it around here. I'll go over there myself. Pay attention to safety here. I'm going. It won't be so lucky. As soon as I came up, I found a century-old Ganoderma. Why is it so small? Ganoderma lucidum looks like this. Can it last 100 years? The host was successfully collected. 1 6-month-old Ganoderma lucidum. AI Bai was excited. This is a mark that appeared before. It's all red. This purple mark, what does it mean? A precious mountain product like a century-old wild ginseng. Also red. Is it what Yin Feiwen wants? Centennial Ganoderma lucidum. Forget it. I'll have to go over and take a look. I'm going. Such a big Ganoderma lucidum. This is just a smell. It is a refreshing fragrance. This must be a century-old Ganoderma lucidum. Congratulations to the host. Collect a century-old Ganoderma lucidum. Worth 100,000 points. 100,000 points. This is a century-old Ganoderma lucidum. You only gave me 100,000 points. You didn't get the system wrong. A single mountain goods. The maximum number of points you can earn is 100,000. The final interpretation right belongs to the system. You cheat, daddy system. This century-old Ganoderma lucidum. It's much harder to find than the 100-year-old ginseng. You give me 100,000 points. However, this 100-year-old Ganoderma lucidum is so rare. Before I sold it, I'll study it first. I'm going. It scared me to death. Unexpectedly. After this Ganoderma lucidum was picked, the effect will come out slowly. Almost got 5 million. Flew away. However, after picking Ganoderma lucidum, earned 100,000 points, plus the mountain ginseng I picked before. Earned 100,000 points. There are still leftovers from before. I now have 210,000 points. Hey, the flowers are endless. It can't be spent at all. There are too many things going on these days. I forgot to add some to my body. The body is agile. And smell. Let's add it to 10 o'clock. The host successfully redeems 8 dexterity points and 8 olfactory values. A total of 80,000 points were spent. All current physical fitness is 10. Successfully unlock the microcontrol ability. Microcontrol capabilities and sniffing are 100 miles away. These names, it just sounds a bit amazing. Five kilometers to the north. Wangqi half an hour ago. I peed in a bubble. 50 miles to the north. There is a male body that has been dead for 3 years. South. Zhao Li is eating a self-heating hot pot. I'm going. This is simply what it is. A super version of a dog's nose. It seems that I will look for medicine later. I don't have to turn on the radar all the time. This knows me. I found it as soon as I smelled it everywhere. Although it took a lot of effort. But the result was good. However, after this Ganoderma lucidum is picked, just take it out and weaken the herbs. I can't then. After seeing the printing of the flying text, just throw it to him and leave it alone. Hey system. Is there any way? You can save the century-old Ganoderma lucidum. The host can spend 9,990 points. Redeem for a custom wooden box. Put in anything. Can be kept in original condition. I'm going. So expensive. Forget it. Let's exchange one. After seeing the printing of the flying text, ask him to take out the money for me one piece. Little brother, pound take out the century-old Ganoderma lucidum. Oh, okay. I'll give you the money first. Hey, it's not about money. It's the century-old Ganoderma lucidum. After Dan took it out, the color will fade. The medicinal properties are weakened. So how do you save it? This looks ordinary box. It is my family's ancestral box. This century-old Ganoderma lucidum is placed inside. The medicinal properties are not diminished. Okay. Since this wooden box is so magical, that little brother, you make a price. 200,000. 2 million. Ah. Okay, as long as I can save my daughter's life. 2 million is 2 million. This is the same as described in the classics. It's exactly the same. This is really a rare encounter in 100 years. Centennial Ganoderma lucidum. Hong Lao. Everything is up to you. Okay. Here is 8 million. No password. Okay. Nothing. Mr. Ian, I will leave first. Hey, little brother, stay for dinner at night. It should be a celebration banquet. No need. You pay for me to do things. That's all I should do. Brother, don't lie to me. How the hell did you dig wild ginseng? How many times have I told you? I was lucky. Hey, hurry up. Mushroom picking. Oh, I can't tell you. I have radar exploration. There are also those who can smell all kinds of mountain products. Dog nose. This vassal glove. It's useless now. No matter who wears it. It's hard to get big goods. Hey, what's wrong? In a few days, Hong Lao, it's time to start boiling the soup. But he said, there is only a 50% chance of success. In case of failure, you may have to find another one. Centennial Ganoderma lucidum. I was able to harvest it last time. It was all my luck. You'd better let him. Just a one-time success. Hong Lao also said, unless his master Niu Qi personally stepped in. Otherwise, who came? There is no way to guarantee it. It will definitely succeed. You know how dangerous it is to go to the mountains. I can't guarantee going in again. That's fine. Then I'll urge them again. Okay. Yin Feiwen attaches so much importance to this Hong Lao. I thought it was a miracle doctor. It seems that he is also a half-hanger. Alas. Yin Ke was driven away. Let's go to the front and take a look. Help! Help! Young people, help me. I will see a doctor for your whole family. Young people. Skilled. Have you practiced martial arts? My cousin has been running fast since he was a child. Not an old man. Why are you alone? In this deep mountain. In this mountain, there are savages. You also met the savages here. Grandpa, we have also encountered this mountain before. But then the savages ran away on their own. We're safe. I was. It's here in the mountains. Looking for a rare medicinal herb. Unexpectedly, there are savages in this mountain. It's okay. On myself. Brought some ecstasy grass after I stunned the savage. As a result, myself also fainted on this tree. What herbs are you looking for? Is it precious? This wild ginseng. It's really hard to find. Although, I have been sick for half my life. But this is looking for medicine. I still have too little experience. Is wild ginseng hard to find? My cousin has found several. That's it, young man. I was already lost in the mountains. You took me down the mountain. I help your whole family. See a doctor for free. I'm not sick. This old man looked like he was 7 or 10. Although the clothes are tattered, but the spirit is still good. It's a bit of an extraterrestrial master. Are you very good at seeing a doctor? The old man is Niu Qi. People give him the nickname Medicine King. Brother Chen Mo. You are an interesting person. From your supermarket. You can see it by calling Chen Mo Supermarket. Hey, I like it. When it was first named. Let Chen Bianke help me think of a random one. I didn't expect her to think so casually. Niu Lao, are you really the king of medicine? If it is a fake package. However, my name. It is also in the field of traditional Chinese medicine. A bit influential. You don't know. It's also normal. Then you are not. There is an apprentice named Hong. We all call him Hong Lao now. Hong Lao. Many years ago. There is a man named Hong Yun. Studied with me for a while. He is a nominal disciple. So you know me. Now there is a particularly anxious person. Hope you can save his daughter. No matter how much money you pay, it should be fine. I see a doctor. Don't talk about money, only about fate. How many dollars are fine? Anyway, it's not me who pays. Oops. It is the fate of fate. Young people, you saved me. We are fated. So, I can see you. However, if you want me to see someone else. Okay. If the Medicine King, it's for my sake. Go to treat Yin Feiwen's daughter. This is a great favor. It is impossible not to give me benefits. But wait, I really can't guess how much to give. Then take a gamble. Niu Lao, my family is healthy. I still take the chance. Leave it to those in need. Ha ha ha. Young people, I like your personality. Then the old man will help you take a look. Hey, what's wrong? Miss me so soon? Yes. That, I mean, do you have anything to do with me? You mentioned it to me just now. This is called Niu Qi's Medicine King. He's with me now. Hurry up and pick it up. Ah, you're not kidding. You think this kind of thing? Will I joke with you? Uncle Ian sent so many people. None of them were found. How did you find it? I am picked up in the mountains. Okay, we will pass now. Okay. Uncle Ian, is the medicine king here? Please. Master, I can be considered to have found you. Oh. It's been a long time since I last saw you. This is the medicine king Niu Qi, chairman of Huateng Group. Print flying text. His daughter was seriously ill. That's why I'm looking for you everywhere at any cost. This is Miss Zhao Li. She is the daughter of the chairman of the printing industry. Ian Wanwan's good girlfriend. Chen Mo, you are really a lucky star. Now Wanwan is saved. Xiao Li is right. You are really us, the lucky star of Huateng Group. Mr. Ian, walk slowly. Since you like to open a supermarket so much, then I'm in the city. I'll give you a big one. This is a great effort. It's not appropriate. A mere 4 to 5 million supermarkets. Just accept it. If you hadn't given up the opportunity to him, I won't help his daughter with her illness. Oops. Then I will. It is better to be respectful than to obey. Ahaha, good. Walk slowly. Open a big supermarket in the city. This was before me. Unthinkable. Build my own business empire. Start with this supermarket. Master, medicinal materials for Miss Yin's treatment are all ready. This. It's really wild Ganoderma. I have lived most of my life. It's the first time I've seen it, so well preserved. You see, this wild century-old wild ginseng. The taste is excellent. It's rare. This is really brother Chen Mo. He really found it himself. Yes, Niu Lao, you see, when can I start boiling medicine? I'll get ready. Start boiling medicine tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, Chen Mo. Thanks to you, I can regain my health. Yes. If you don't pick it, wild ginseng erasure. Wanwan's body. I'm afraid it won't last long. Miss Ian doesn't have to be so polite. I'm just taking money to do things. You're welcome. I'm not used to smartphones. Let the two little girls. I invite you here. Don't be surprised. Niu Lao asked me to come here. It should not be just for treat me to coffee. If you want to eat this cake, you can also come to. Just kidding. I asked you to come here today. I want to ask my little brother to do me a favor. What a bus. Help me find a precious medicinal herb. This medicinal herb, although it is not as precious as a century-old Ganoderma, but it is said there is no one alive now. The old man Niu is so old. It should be that he wants me to help. Find some herbs that can increase your lifespan. Niu Lao, I am looking for some medicine to prolong life. And then alchemy. My old bone. I have long wanted to die quickly. I live so long. What is the use? What is that? There is an ancient book of traditional Chinese medicine, recorded a blind medicinal material. It's called the Rigia. Combined with some other medicinal materials, it can be refined into a plaster. Not only can it be used for beauty, it can even live and dye human flesh and bones. If this plaster can be developed, isn't it going to sell out? Don't move at every turn. Money is not money. This plaster is refined. It is to benefit the people. Niu Lao is so indifferent to fame and fortune. It's really admirable. Of course, earn a little money by the way. It's not impossible. My life. It's almost the end. If Chen Mo's little brother can help me find the sun to urge the sun, I can put. The method of refining plasters will teach you if you follow what you always say. This urges Rigia to find it. I'm afraid there is no way. Let's produce plasters in bulk. After finding the urging sun armor, it is necessary to carry out reproduction and cultivation first. After having a certain scale, only then can there be a large number of ointments. I won't say it yet. Can you find this urging sun armor? Even if you find it, it is estimated that the breeding was successful. It will take several years. It seems that he wants to make a fortune with this plaster. It's not realistic. System space. Developable acceleration soil. Planting plants consumes points. Accelerated growth. System, tell me quickly, how many points do you need to spend? Accelerate soil per square meter. 5,000 credits are required. Accelerate 100 points per day. If you get 100 points a day, the year is 36,500 points. It's still acceptable. I don't know how long the sun armor will last to mature. If it's the same as ginseng and Ganoderma lucidum or something. If it takes tens or hundreds of years to grow, I really can't afford it. Niu Lao, how long is the growth cycle of this Japanese armor? It is recorded in ancient books. Urge the sun armor from germination and flowering to adulthood. It takes a total of 6 months. It needs to be collected within 10 days after it is made. Otherwise, it will wither. So it's hard to find. 6 months is simply great. When the time comes, it will be a day of urging. Planted in system space. I can observe it at any time. I don't believe in this thing. You can still wither under my nose. Niu Lao, is there a? This is a photo of the Japanese armor. There is. This looks like ordinary weeds. It makes no difference. Is it such a precious herb? Isn't it characteristic? I don't know about such a thing as urging regia. Radar detection system. He smelled 100 miles away. Can it be recognized? If not, that's really a needle in the sea. In fact, I'm looking for a data urge job. There is a special way. Ancient books record. Savage in the mountains often use the sun nail for healing. Then I'll beat a few savages first. Let them go to the sun armor to heal their injuries. Then track them again. I can't believe it. Okay, I'll take on this job. Worthy of being a savage. It's really rough and thick. If this hits an ordinary person, that's either death or disability. The movement of ordinary people can be 10 times slower. This savage move, it can only be slowed down by 5 times. What a monster. But 5 times is enough. These savages have rough skin and thick flesh, not injuring them completely. I guess I won't go to the urging of the day. Then I won't come in vain. Put that for me. The urging day armor is finally in hand. There is no need to delay. Plant it now. The host successfully redeemed 1 square m of accelerated soil. Spend 5,000 points. It turned out to be black soil. The soil is moist and fluffy. Use this soil to grow things. It is the best. But this mature Japanese armor leader looks an ordinary grass. It makes no difference. These seeds in it. It should be its seed. Planted in this system. There is not even a single sunshine. Can this thing grow? Plants planted in accelerated soil. No watering required. There is also no need for photosynthesis. Whether to activate the acceleration function. 100 points to accelerate growth in a day. Accelerated for 180 days. A total of 18,000 points were spent. This thing really burns points. On this mature sun-hyping armor, there are 5 seeds. Now, I have 25 seeds here. If you plant again, I can grow more than 100 plants. No. Before planting, I have to go to Niu Lao to confirm first. This accelerated soil is grown. Is it useful to urge regia? Don't give me 20,000 points when the time comes. It's not in vain. Hey, I'm here now. The bus stop opposite the Huateng building. How long are you still there? There are still more than 10 minutes left. You wait a little. Okay, then I'll wait for you. Chen Mo. Chen Mo. Which one are you? I'm Hu Hai. The easternmost one in our village. How do you remember? Ah, what a coincidence. How? Brother can't recognize the handsome ones now. You are handsome. Chicken nest head. A fake brand short sleeves. Beanie shoes. What era? Still dressed like this. Is there any aesthetics, big brother? I heard that you are in our village. Opened a supermarket. I'm really ready to work in the village for a lifetime. Wouldn't it be nice to stay in the village for the rest of your life? What is the future in the village? Follow my brother into the factory to work. 4,000 yuan a month. This day is just 2 words. Chic. 4,000 pieces. Can you spend it all? I usually only play Didi. Meals are only called takeout. Occasionally, I also gave the female anchor some small gifts. If you can't spend it all, you can't spend it all. I'm going. What a beautiful beauty. Wow, the figure is still so good. It's simply the love of my dreams. If you like it so much, why don't you go up and strike up a chat? Like this kind of superb beauty. How could you like us? Let's do it. I'll give you a sample. J Small. I'm going. It turns out that he is not a picky eater. I knew my brother would go first. Hey, isn't this brother Chen Mo and Miss Zhao? Please come in. Brother Chen Mo. Just separated. We met again. This is a gift for me. We are also acquaintances. Don't be so polite. This. Isn't this just 2 weeds? Little brother. It's not me talking about you. Take this thing as a gift. It's too shabby. Could it be? Niu Lao asked you to find something. This hard-to-find medicinal material. Chen Mo brothers. You find it in a day. I really didn't see the wrong person. Go and prepare the other medicinal materials. Today I am going to refine the hypnotic ointment. Okay. Niu Lao. These two plants urge the Japanese armor. Probably how much sun-inducing cream can be practiced. Ancient books record. One plant is a hypnotic sun. You can refine a sun-inducing ointment. But I also tried it for the first time. I don't know if I will do my best. Okay. Please. It seems that this is a hypnotic day. Only the rhizome part can be used as medicine. The master turned out to be willing to let me learn here. It seems that he is in his heart. I still recognize my apprentice. It has become. Ha 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 ha. I have no regrets in this life. Ha ha. Brother Chen Mo, you are really a great achievement. Thank you so much. Niu Lao doesn't have to be so polite. It's too late for me to thank you. This pointed me to a point. A clear way to get rich. The effect of this ointment. If it's really as good as you say, I don't have to worry about no one buying it at all. Niu Lao. Can this plaster really remove scars? No problem. Definitely no problem. That. Can I try it first? Little girl, the area of your wound is relatively small. A quarter should be enough. It's a sun ointment. It will take 6 hours to see results. It took 12 hours to complete. To make it or not. It's tomorrow. How was it? Does the arm feel anything? It doesn't hurt as much as it was just now. Feeling. It hurts and itches. If you can feel the itch, it means that it is almost better. Hey Chen Mo. You think. A bottle of sun hypnotizing ointment. How much is more appropriate to sell? 5,000. 5,000. Will 5,000 be? Is it too high? But, if it is really as Niu Lao said, that kind of effect. Let's not mention its healing effect. It's just a scar removal. I feel like I can be robbed. It shouldn't be expensive. It's too low. The various effects of the sun cream for the vast majority of people. It has a huge appeal. Want to buy it? Than we expected. It will only be more, not less. So I think. The price is about 10,000. It is more appropriate. I didn't expect this girl to be serious. It's no wonder it's charming. Chen Mo. Why are you staring at me all the time? Oh. I was distracted just now. I'm sorry. You continue. Our family is engaged in drug sales. Although the scale is not large, but there are still some big customers. When the time comes, we can work together. Get rich together. If I can offer it to you now. A large number of Japanese armor. How long will it take on your side? You can start production and sales. You can provide a large amount of sun-inducing armor. Didn't Niu Lao say that the medicinal materials are difficult to find? Oof. This medicinal material is difficult for others to find. But for my brother. But they are all minor problems. Chen Mo, you stink fart. Wait for tomorrow to see how the effect is. After that, I will discuss it with my dad and tell you. Brother Chen Mo. Miss Zhao, the meal is ready. Come and eat. Hey. Brother Chen Mo, thanks for your help. Just let the old man fulfill the last grand wish of this life. I will toast you. Niu Lao, you are serious. Come on, don't just look at it. Eat vegetables. Oops. This old man. Fighting in the rivers and lakes for so many years. I've always wanted to finish it. A grand wish in traditional Chinese medicine. This grand wish is to make the sun-urging ointment. I didn't expect my grand wish in the end. Or you will help me complete it. Come and toast you again. Come and do it. Brother Chen Mo. What do you think of Miss Zhao? What do you think of Miss Zhao? It's good. People are beautiful. He also has a gentle personality. At present, I have not found any shortcomings. Niu Lao, what are you doing? Come on. Cheers. Ha ha ha. Come on. Brother Chen Mo's drinking capacity is not good. It's not as good as my master. Ha 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 ha. Niu Lao Hong Lao. Then you continue. I will help Chen Mo back to the room to rest. Miss Zhao, there aren't many opportunities like this. Chen Mo is a capable young man. The future is immeasurable. You have to seize this opportunity. The little girl didn't drink much wine. Why is your face so red? Ha 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 ha. Do I really want to do this? Why is my face so hot? System. Redeem a strength point. Congratulations to the host. Redeemed for 1 strength value. Spend 5,000 points. Current strength is 12. Chen Mo. You are awake. I'm going. What is the situation? Zhao Li is planning to be stronger than her brother. Although I like her quite a bit, but I always feel a little aggrieved. Forget it. Just pretend to be drunk. Chen Mo. Did you know? From the time I saw you in the restaurant that day, I just fell in love with you. It turned out that he had a premeditated plan for his brother. I know what you are capable of. You will definitely have a big career in the future. I know too. After myself, there is a good chance that he will not be worthy of you. Although this is a bit of a precaution. But it was my own decision. I won't regret it. I won't hold you accountable. Ah. Silly girl. If you like me, why don't you tell me directly? I like you too. From now on, you are my Chen Mo's person. I thought you too. I have to sleep until the afternoon. Cough, cough, cough. You will be close later. Let me see how the injury is. With your current intimacy, let Brother Chen Mo do it. It's not appropriate for me to do it. Brother Chen Mo, come on. Wow, really not anymore. Oh, good. It's really good. Efficacy and it is exactly the same as recorded in ancient books. Okay, good. Chen Mo, look, really not anymore. The effect is indeed good. You can make money with this. But I hope you do. It can also be used to help those in need. Don't worry, Niu Lao, facing the need. But those who don't have money to buy, Chen Mo and I will provide it for free. That's good. That Niu Lao Hong Lao. It's getting late. Chen Mo and I left first. Okay. Hey. Where are we going? Of course I will take you to see my dad. The ugly husband always wants to see the old man. Are you in such a hurry? I'm not ready for anything yet. What's wrong? What are you going to prepare? Does your uncle have any hobbies or anything like that? Or I'll get him 2 bottles of good wine, or buy 2 pounds of good tea or something. Why are you in a hurry than me? This time I will take you to see my dad. The main thing is to discuss the production of plasters. Let's talk about it later. Oh. Forget about it. But Zhao Li, don't worry. Wait until one day, when I stood high enough. I will definitely give you a grand wedding. Hey Xiaoli. Why don't you introduce it? Your friend. Yes. Dad, this is my good friend Chen Mo. He is also my old classmate in junior high school. It was he who helped Wanwan find it. Centennial ginseng and Ganoderma. Okay. Since he is a good friend of Xiaoli, or Miss Yin's savior, you make this your home. Don't be restrained. Hello, Uncle Zhao. 0. Broken. Forget about it. Hey, Charlie. Did I say something wrong just now? How do you feel that my uncle's face is not very good? In fact, my dad's surname is Liu. His name is Dana Liu. I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your stepfather. The first time I saw my father-in-law, I called the wrong person's last name. It's a bit over. Not a stepfather. It's my own father. It's just that he is an upside-down door. So I took my mother's surname. I see. Insert the door upside down. You can also control a company by yourself. My father-in-law is a character. Uncle Liu, I was really embarrassed just now. Don't mind what I say. No, I won't sit. This young man has a good personality. You can find century-old ginseng and centennial ganoderma. It shows that he is also good at it. Okay. It's only 8 a.m. now. You slept with Shelly last night. Yes. I went to bed with Shelly last night. Young people are really sincere enough. But you want to be with Shelly. It's not impossible. But you have to promise me one condition. Uncle. You don't want me to plug the door upside down. Wrong. Never insert the door upside down. Uncle Liu is so resolute. Is it because of Zhao Li's mother? She is a strong woman. I want my son-in-law to plug the door upside down. And Uncle Liu in order to let his grandson. From then on, he did not take the surname Zhao. That's why such a condition was put forward? Oh, Dad. We're here to talk to you about business. I'm not here to talk about marriage. Talk about business. My daughter and me. What business is there to discuss? Just take care of my daughter. It's the best business. I am such a daughter. You have to treat her well. Don't worry, Uncle. I will definitely take care of Shelly. Dad. We really have business to talk to you. Oh. You see. Hey, Shelly. How did your scar disappear here? Here's how. Niu Lao asked Chen Mo. I found a very precious medicinal material. Then this medicinal material was made into a plaster. I tried it on. The effect is immediate. Dad, you should know. How good is the future of this plaster? Even if this plaster can be mass-produced, just put it into the production line. Clinical trials. There is also marketing. It also costs a lot of money. And even if it works well, that doesn't necessarily guarantee to sell out. Oh, Dad. I know you say this, it's to get more dividends. But the raw material of this plaster, only Chen Mo can provide it. He will take 70% of all profits in the future. Haha, good. I have raised you for more than 20 years. Now this elbow is still turned outward. I guess I'll do the math. Early investment. It costs about 10 million or more. Just human and material resources. You two give me 30% of the profit. Only then can you get back the early investment cost. Young people. We make a profit of 55%. I support you and Shelly together. Uncle deal. We have a happy cooperation. Sure, young man, I'll leave Shelly to you. I'm very optimistic about you. Ha ha ha. Chen Mo. You were so happy to agree just now. My dad is shrewd. Even if you only take 30% of the profit, he earns some money. Who let it be your dad? Exchange 20% of the profit for the support of the father-in-law. I think it's worth it. Chen Mo, you are so good. Come and kiss one. Wait a minute. Stop making trouble. I still have to drive. Now. Hey, okay. Wait a while for you to kiss enough. Hey, yes. Is your mother's family rich? Well, it's okay. I have several uncles who are officials. The people on my mother's side are not easy to deal with. Take your time later. Officials. I don't know how big an official it is. It seems that he wants to be recognized by Shelly's mother. It's not easy. Uncle Liu's side. You need to send some raw materials over first. So, I have to plant a batch of sun-urging armor first. Use these 25 seeds first. Cultivate the first batch. System acceleration for 180 days. Started accelerating for 180 days. A total of 18,000 points were spent. This is a total of 125 seeds. After this batch is used up, replant when you need to urge the sun. However, the square meter of accelerated soil, it's really a bit inadequate. It is estimated that it can only be planted at most. More than 100 plants are urging the sun. But if you open another piece of soil, every time the sun accelerates, it costs me 36,000 points. I can't afford it. If a box of sun-hyping ointments sells for 10,000 yuan, 125 seeds can sell for 1.25 million. Oops. The profit is really too high. Those robbers who rob banks. If only I knew I earned so much. Don't cry to death. Wait until the back urge is Regia. After production, I still have to go into the mountains. Take some more mountain goods. Just add points. Hey, why did it take so long to call me? Just now I went to the mountains to find a reminder of Regia. There are now 125 Japanese armor. It should be enough for experiments. Wow, Chen Mo, you are so powerful. Why did you find so many at once? Enough. Then I'll pick you up tomorrow morning. No, don't be so troublesome. I have a car. You send me the address then. I'll drive there. Oh yes. Tomorrow my mother will also be at the company. What will she say then? Don't take it to heart. It's your mother anyway. How could I be angry with her? I can't explain it to you now. Anyway, you just need to be mentally prepared. Hung up. Xiaoli's mother. What kind of person is he? Hey, I really haven't seen this medicinal material. Have you seen it? No. That Xiao Chen. So let's get started. Let's start. After adding this medicinal herb, then slowly simmer over low heat. 200. Body. Do not use two cooktops side by side. Do not use vessel blood that goes beyond the side cover. When using, keep away from flammable objects. Wait until you smell the medicinal fragrance. You can turn off the heat. Open the lid. Remember. After smelling the aroma of medicine, open the lid immediately. Then turn off the heat. Became. What is here now is the sun cream. Your technical department will take this away. While Chen Mo is still here. If you don't understand anything, hurry up and ask him. Okay. Xiao Chen. The results of the study will take some time. You go to Xiaoli first. Go see her mother with Xiaoli. Okay. Mom, Chen Mo is here. Advance. When you come in quickly. At the door, the ghost is haunted. What does it look like? This serious and cold tone. How can you be like my class student in junior high school? Chen Mo, this is my mother. Hello, Auntie. Lear praised you so beautifully. It looks pretty average today. Mom. I talked to him. If you don't want to listen, you can go out. Auntie. Zhao Li praised me here. Probably an exaggeration, but I'll see you today. I think Xiaoli. Instead, put you. I boasted a little implicitly. Xiaoli kept telling me before. You have always been like sisters. Take a look. I feel that it is not an exaggeration to say that they are twin sisters. Flowery words. You abducted my daughter like this. Not all. Mainly. Compared with Uncle Lu, it is still much worse. Uncle Lu is really capable. This Uncle Lu can deceive a big beauty like you. He is really capable. Xiaoli, you have to be careful. This man's mouth. Deceitful ghost. Sister Zhao, what you said is wrong. I am to you. And every word Shelley said, it's all sincere. You call me sister. Ha ha. Mainly, you look so young. I really can't say what I call my aunt. I really can't say what I call my aunt. Ha 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 go. If you have any difficulties in the future, come to my sister. I approve of you, my son-in-law. I didn't expect my mother to be such a difficult person. Chen Mo finished it in a few words. That's how it is. I don't know how many little girls I have cheated on before. Oh, Mr. Liu. It's been a while. This is my daughter's boyfriend. Chen Mo. People. Very smart and capable. This is Secretary Wu of Shanxiang County. Just call me Uncle Wu. You two can get to know each other. Ha ha ha. What a coincidence. Isn't our village under the management of Shanxiang County? Recently, it just arrived. It's time to elect the village chief. If you have a good relationship with Secretary Wu, turn back to my second uncle. Get to the position of village chief. Don't worry at all. The owner has a rich family twice. What kind of moth is that? Hello, Uncle Wu. My family lives in Wulong Village. We are quite fated. Ha 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 ha. It's your own person. Ha 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 ha. This young man is from Wulong Village. Is still the boyfriend of Lu Dana's daughter. Oops. It seems that this time let the city enterprises the opening of a branch factory in our county. There is a chance. Mr. Yin is here. Haha, Yin is always good. Mr. Lu is good. Secretary Wu, Secretary Wu. Secretary Wu. Ha ha ha. Hey. Mr. Lu, why did you bring your son-in-law? It's rare to have this kind of scene. I took this kid to see the world. Ha ha ha. Oops. If it weren't for your Shelley being quick, I also want to let Chen Mo stay with our family. Wan understands. Ha ha ha. That is like this. Uncle Luin, you talk first. I just spin around. Hey, okay, Uncle Lu wants to borrow my relationship. It is familiar with printing and flying texts. Now the conversation is in full swing. My mission is over. It seems that you and Mr. Yin are also very familiar with each other. It's okay. It's that he always asks me to go to his house for dinner. Your village chief is Wang Youfu. Now is the time for re-election. Alright. I am actually going to recommend my second uncle. He was the village chief. Wang Youfu is older. It does take some younger and more courageous people become village chiefs. It is also helpful for the county's investment promotion. Secretary Wu. Then let's talk about opening a branch. Okay, good. That's it. Uncle Yin, Uncle Lu, Uncle Wu. I still have something to do. I'll leave first. Okay, good. Hey, remember to go home for dinner. Good, ha ha ha. Hello, sir. How did this test drive feel? Not bad. This car is low-key and domineering, and there is a lot of space. The shape is still handsome. That's it. The total cost of this car is 2.2 million, right? Yes, how do you pay? Swipe your card. Okay, sir. Not bad, not bad. It's a good feeling to spend money. But today I spent a total of 3 million. There are only 7 million left. Oh, the speed at which money is spent. It's really exaggerated. But tomorrow my supermarket will open. Hope the business will be done then. Be prosperous. Jing A 55555. Cousin's supermarket is too big. This has caught up with half of our village. It's just that the name is too earthy. Why not call it Chen Mo Supermarket? Is it good to call Chen Mo's big supermarket? What do you think? He was from Liqing. Second uncle and second aunt. I plan to. This stall. I will change it to this braised meat stall for you. You will recruit 2 people in the future. Sell braised meat here. The source of customers is stable. You should be able to earn a good income every month. That's great. How much rent should we give you? Hey, aunt. What rent do we mention? How much it hurts feelings to withdraw money. We are all our own family. As long as you take this well. After the stall is operated, the same will be true then. It can drive the customers of our supermarket, isn't it? Xiao Mo is promising now. Don't worry. Your aunt and I will definitely do a good job. Let's make a lot of money together. Hey, cousin. What about me? My position is the captain of the security brigade. No one move. Daizhuang, I'll keep it for you. Yes, they will take you through the onboarding process. Hey, you little girl. You are the captain of the Shigong security brigade. Why are you thinking? Chen Mo. That's right. This is my girlfriend. Her name is Zhao Li. This is my second uncle. Hello, uncle and aunt. Chen Mo, this kid, how did you get it? Oh, you look so watery. We haven't been together for long. Right. This supermarket will also open tomorrow. This can be prepared first. That's right, the second uncle. I'll keep this Audi for you to drive. The car is parked in your garage. Good boy. I said whose car was in my garage. That car is not cheap at first glance. I didn't dare to touch it. It turns out to be yours. Then I drove away from the Audi. After that, the business will be good and you will be divided. Oops. How can my cousin look down on this little money? I have a hunch. My cousin will definitely be a big boss in the future. I have to be very good. I can't hold my cousin back. Well, this piece. It should be like this. Mom and Dad. Why are you in such a hurry to call us over? Something happened. Let him say. Here's how. The sun hyping cream made by our company. It has successfully gained popularity. The printing department is over there. Has been established with us. Long-term cooperative relationship. The special department where Chen Mo works. 1,000 bottles of day cream have been sold. It's still with the other party. A 5-year cooperation contract was signed. Isn't this all a good thing? Why are you two frowning? Oh, I can't bear it. I can't bear anything. Your dad and I have already discussed it. Transferred the company to your name. Me. I can't. I have no experience in managing a business. The company wants to give it to me. That's not in your hands. We will give Chen Mo 40% of the shares. It should be. I will give it to you young couple in advance. Engagement gifts. What is the dead girl afraid of? Your dad and I will also work in the company. It's just that from boss to employee. Sister Zhao, this is not appropriate. What's out of place? Are you ready to let my daughter down? No. I am absolutely sincere to Xioli, but you give me 40% of the shares. It's worth billions. Isn't it too hasty to give me like this? I believe in my own vision. Company. 2. We do it little by little to achieve the current scale. I hope you can make the company better. Since Sister Zhao and Uncle Lu believe in me so much, I must put the company to become the largest pharmaceutical company in the country. Sister Zhao and Uncle Lu gave the company to me and Zhao Li. But the company's main product now, there is only one type of sun cream. Within a few years, the market will definitely be slowly saturated. Some must be developed. Other products will do. Chen Mo, what do you think of this house? Prescription for sun hypnotic ointment. It is recorded in an ancient book of traditional Chinese medicine in the System Mall. Will there be other prescriptions? Chen Mo. Didn't you say to look at the house together? What are you doing? Oh yes. Look at the house. Oops. Your apartment is indeed a bit small. We can't always go back to Wulong village. Hey, how do you have a good house? How about you look at this? Waterfront Ming Mansion. Floor villa. Beautiful environment. Convenient transportation. Hey. The main thing is that this house is not far from our company. It's okay. It's just a little expensive. This set plus decoration. It is estimated to be 10 million. 10 million. This is our wedding room. If you want to buy it, you naturally have to buy a better one. The money from selling medicinal materials before, plus the money to sell this day cream. I now have more than 20 million in my hands. We can afford it. Then let's choose this set. I like it very much. Chen Mo. Thank you. Give me a home of my own. System. Is there anything like a day cream? A magical prescription. Youth Forever Mask Prescription. 50,000 system points. 100,000 points of longevity and longevity elixirs. I only have 120,000 points now. System. Give me a redemption. The prescription for the Eternal Mask of Youth. The host successfully redeemed. Youth Forever Mask Prescription. Spend 50,000 system points. Youth Forever Mask. The main material is He Shou Wu. It has to be more than 50 years old. The other adjuvant medicines are Angelica. Codenopsis is a relatively common medicinal material. I just don't know He Shou Wu for more than 50 years. It's hard to find. strengthening the body and strengthening bone soup, stimulating potential drugs. I didn't expect this system, and so many weird things. It seems that I will do it later, as long as there are enough points. You can redeem prescriptions indefinitely. In that case, let's go find Yi Shouwu first. Advance. Mr. Chen, our company. The quarterly earnings report is out. When do you have time? Let me report to you. I thought he was the boss of the company. It's just a casual sitting. How do you get off work? I didn't expect to have to look at the documents again. I have to listen to the report again. It's really not good. Now let's talk about it. Our company this quarter, 50,000 bottles of sun hypnotic ointment were sold, 30,000 boxes of youth masks, and remove some traditional medicines. Remove costs. The profit is 2 billion. This is an increase from the statistics of the previous quarter. 200%. The profit of the sun-urging bomb and the eternal mask. It is indeed high. This speed of making money. Put it in the previous me. But I can't even think about it. Over there in Shanshan County, how much is the company's revenue? The consumption power over there is generally not high. The profit is only 50 million. It's okay to do charity. Zhao's Medicine. Now it is in the province. The leading pharmaceutical company. The entire province's market. It's almost saturated. The next step is to do business abroad. The company's current liquidity. Probably how many? About 8 billion. Next step. Brother wants to engage in international trade. This afternoon in the conference room. You go and notify all the top management. Be sure to get them there. Okay. I see that the people are almost there. Call everyone here for a meeting today. The main thing is to discuss a big event. See how to do it. Is it feasible or not? What a big deal, Mr. Chen. I want to open a branch abroad. Mainly sell our special products. For example, sun hypnotic cream, youth forever mask and the like. This idea doesn't seem realistic. Yes, Mr. Chen. If you open a company abroad, the company's working capital has to be invested. In case it fails, then the company would have to go bankrupt. This opportunity and challenge, they will always coexist. Our company is now in the stage of rapid development. There is an urgent need to expand the market size. If you miss this opportunity, it's not that easy to expand further. No matter what you decide, I support it all. I think Chen Mo said it very well. Now is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You can take a gamble. Anyway, now the company belongs to you and Shioli. I have no problem. I also support Mr. Chen. What is the effect of our company's products? We know best in our own hearts. I believe no matter where it is. If you have such a product, you don't have to worry about not having a market. Let's raise our hands and vote. Raise your hand in agreement. Okay. In that case, that's it. Leave it to Uncle Lu to take full responsibility. Hey, you kid wants to be a shopkeeper again, right? Uncle Lu. I also have a hard time. You think, since you want to open a branch, that must be inseparable from raw materials. I'm sure I'll have to get some preparedness. In addition, the day I got married to Shelly, isn't it almost here? Ha ha. Hey, how is the foreign branch now? It's been a week since my dad. He said our products. It is also in short supply abroad. We need to increase production. Now the company's profit per quarter. They are all in class. More than a dozen supermarkets have also opened, and the business is very good. I didn't expect one day. I can also feel the trouble of too much money. Oops. I forgot what it was today. The day of the wedding rehearsal. You go change your clothes quickly. My cousin should be in a hurry. I used to think that as long as there is endless money, you can get happiness. Unexpectedly, by chance, experienced it all. Only then did I find that the relationship was happy. The health of the family is the greatest happiness. Chen Mo. Oh. I'll go now. Wow, great. Good. Chen Mo. I'll leave Xiaoli to you today. You are a reliable man. I believe you can put Pakistani enterprises together. It's so well managed. It can also make your life better. Don't worry, Uncle Lu. I will be good to Xiaoli for the rest of my life. Ouch, ha. Xiaoli, you are so beautiful today. Thank you, Chen Mo. From now on, you are my wife. Husband. Okay, good. Kiss one, kiss one. Ha ha ha. Very good.